My partner said, we catching flights, we ain't catching feelings. It's your boy Bo Rakes. Shout out to Paradise Life. Gang, gang. I'm out here living it, man. Paradise Life in the flesh.
So people always ask me, Flip, is it true that you were the youngest expat living in another country that was non-military? It's quite a story, so let's get to it. What's good, y'all? Good morning. This rainy morning in Sosua. I want to welcome y'all to the world famous chicken shack. Welcome, friends and family. I am Mr. Flip Flop, owner of Flip Flop Sports Bar here in Sosua, Dominican Republic. And this is my Sosua journey, I guess you would call it, right? How I ended up in Sosua, how I ended up living in Sosua. But first, I need you to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you share the video. It's a dope story. This is part one, the basics, and then we got some more to talk about.
Welcome to Flip Flop.
In the beginning, God created. Wait, no, that's way too far in the beginning. My bad. Let's go to about 19, 20 years ago, give or take. First came down, I just got my passport, went to the Bahamas. Then my cousin set me up, said, hey, you got to come to Sosua, Dominican Republic. I said, cool. I actually had a trip planned to Colombia, but it never happened. And I booked my flight to Colombia. Went down with a bunch of brothers, must have been 40, 50 deep. People from all walks of life, but it was mainly 9 to 5 guys, city workers, train, bus operators, garbage men, policemen. So it was a dope trip. See all them dudes down there congregating and getting everything, you know, just enjoying life. Sitting around smoking cigars, playing cards, playing dominoes, going to the beach, eating, chilling. So it was kind of dope. The first trip was definitely amazing. I think I got a video about my first trip, so you can go check that out. But it led me to come back probably about 2-3 months later. Used another cousin for that trip. Said he needs help. We got to make sure we watch out for him. So came back down. After that, the first year, I started coming down maybe once every 3-4 months. Whenever I was possibly available to get down. I was real busy at the time. I was vice president of a medical company. And I was working on my personal training company. Learning the ins and outs of personal training. So, you know, I was doing a lot of stuff at that time. So it was hard for me to travel. But every time I got a chance to travel, I made sure I did. As I said, as time went on, I was really focused on my personal training company. So I traveled a lot in the States. I was always on planes a few times a week. And Sosua became my getaway. After about a year or two of me coming, Sosua became my getaway. I'd find myself here maybe every few weeks, sometimes every other month. It was all dependent on my schedule. If I had a quick 2-3 days to shoot down here, I would, because I worked so much that it was just my time to relax a little bit and get away. Really, it was just to clear my head. I want to say something. Don't get fooled by a lot of people. Sosua is not only women, as some people only seem to know. Sosua is a beautiful beach town. Tons of expats from all over the world. One thing I could say is a claim to fame, not just as an owner of a restaurant, but tons of food, tons of great restaurants. You've got diving, you've got boat fishing, you've got all types of stuff. Just down the road, you have in Cabarete, you have windsurfing and all that crazy stuff they be doing on the water. I'm not into all of that, but tons of water sports, and they be having world competitions over there and stuff. So there's lots going on in Sosua in the North Coast. So when people just tell you, oh, it's just women, that's such a farce. That means that person's only seen about 2 or 3 blocks of the entire Sosua. But Sosua is a amazing place. Great nightlife with and without classicals, but more with. You get it? But yeah, Sosua just became a place for me really to get away. And it was something that I really enjoyed coming here. The camaraderie, like I always use that word camaraderie, talking to the people, meeting with people. Us guys that came down even on my first trip used to kick it a lot back in the day before we all had careers and families. So it became one of those things where we only got to see each other on the trips. You know, back home we was working, back home family, you with the wife, you with the kids, a lot going on. Me, myself, I worked nonstop. So it was like, I really didn't have time to see my own peoples. And there was a good period of about 2 years, a year and a half, while I was bodybuilding and training, while I wasn't drinking at all. I'm in the club, but I'm in the club promoting my brand and my network. So I really wasn't going out like that. I was just focused on building the brand up. So I was down here a lot as my little getaway. And it led to a lot more than that. So I had my piece in Sosua. Daily trips to the beach, Fast Freddy's, Mofongo King. I was pretty much on the beach almost every day. Then afternoon, evening trips to Roomba. Lots of bars sprinkled in between. I would bar hop every now and then. Life was just simple and easy. And like I said, really, really peaceful. I ended up meeting a lot of women, which easy, but also a lot of guys wouldn't talk to me. I was bigger than I am now, so I guess maybe I was intimidating back then. I don't know. But guys wouldn't approach me like they do now, you know. But tons of women just hanging out, drinking. Same as in America. America hung with nothing but women. Because if you call your dudes, hey, my girlfriend won't let me go outside. But if you call your homegirl, she ready to go right now. So I've always been the type of dude just to hang with women. I was solo a lot, you know, so relationships were key. To this day, every relationship I built was strong, and it's still to this day strong. So that relationship with the ladies led to relationships with their brothers or cousins or family members, and it led to me just growing and being able to go certain places most people won't go outside of Sosua, even the local neighborhoods in Sosua, but outside the strip that you know of. So I would say after many trips, really too many to count, I decided to stay for about a month, right? Now, one of my great friends, Kiko, rest in peace, told me, instead of renting an apartment or a condo short term, find a long-term place. Knock on wood, thanks to Kiko. Found a location for long term. Now, here was the thing that changed my life. And it might have changed everything about me in Sosua. Because at the time, I went from paying $450 every 8 days to paying $400 for the month, for 30 days. So that was a big game changer for me. Because I'm like, now I got more money in my pocket, you know. The learning curve was easy because of the wealth of knowledge I had from the OGs, from guys like Kiko, from guys like my cousins, from expats that I met that are still here to this day, or some have moved, passed away. But I was actually embraced by a lot of expats. I will say it was a double-edged sword. Some expats embraced me to see what I was really about. Other expats embraced me because they enjoyed me being so young and being able to do the things I did, trying to figure me out, you know, or just like happy that to see someone my age doing what I'm doing on a positive note. So, you know, not having a pension, not having retirement, I was an anomaly, right? And I just decided to just go with the flow. And the first month led to a couple of other things. So now the meat and potatoes of my story. As I told you, I was first time here for a month. Actually, no, that's not true. I stayed for 2 weeks, but I rented the apartment for a month and came back at the end of the month and re-rented it. I ended up coming every couple of weeks and renting that apartment for like almost 6 months. But the month is coming next. As time went on, you know, this is all a process. I'm back and forth, back and forth. A lot of guys would see me with a lot of girls. So I was known for just being seen with a lot of girls. And one time some dudes came up to me that I met through a mutual friend. And they said, hey, man, we're throwing a party. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, am I invited? Like, you know, I'm kind of slow. And they were like, you mind bringing some of your friends over? Cool. So I brought some girls over. They said, hey, ladies, we're going to a party. And, you know, like I said, a lot of girls rocked with me. So if I say, let's go, we was going. Well, that led to a couple of more times people hit me up. Hey, Greg, you know, we got this party going on. Boom. So then someone calls my phone one day and says, hey, we want you to throw a party. We heard you're the party guy. I said, what? Now, I've never thrown a party in my life. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I figured this is pretty easy, right? Food, music, alcohol, women, men. It's a party. I guess, right? So lo and behold, I threw my first party and it led to everything we know now, right? I became the party guy, and it's pretty much over 15 years of doing parties and events, all from that situation, right? Helping businesses, helping hotels. It kind of became a thing, you know. That's funny. Obviously, there'll be a part 2, but let me give you some more info as to what led to me actually being in Sosua and my journey, because I don't want to make this video too long, but there's more to come. Let's get to the point where I realized I'm living in DR. So I scaled back my company, allowing me to leave New York for a period of time. Let's do a sidebar though. I need the sidebar because this part of the story means a lot. My assistant for my personal training company used to be my manager at a gym I was at. So she came with me when I started my company, and it kind of blew up pretty fast, so I made a good amount of money pretty fast. I had a class in California, and I had to be at a show for a sponsorship in Ohio for one of my clients, training for a bodybuilding pro card, excuse me. And I needed her to get me to Cali from New York, to Ohio, back to Cali to finish the class. All in a matter of, I wanted to say, 3 days. I tasked her with it. She was stressed and very upset. Now, I'm a hard person to deal with when it comes to business. Some of you guys watch my employees. Some of you guys, you'll see I'm just really hard on people. But it comes with its rewards, and I'm never going to be hard on anybody I feel can't take it. And I'll let you know, like, hey, dealing with me is not going to be easy. I hope you're ready. You know what I'm saying? But the reward is way better than what you're going to go through. So she's going through it. And, you know, because she's trying to find me the flights, and it's difficult back then. And her husband calls me. Now, we had a rule. Your family or your husband, your significant other can't get involved because you took this on knowing how I am. So it's kind of like a thing. Like, you can't get that upset because you know what you're dealing with. And I know you can deal with me. So, you know, it is what it is. So he calls me, and he's like, hey, man, she's over here crying. She's upset. I said, yeah, but you know the rules, man. I can't, I got to let her figure this out, you know, because that's what I pay her for. And that's why she's my assistant. She's kind of my right hand in the business. He's like, yeah, I know, da. Well, the next day I come meet her, and she has it all worked out. She has the flights worked out. After 2 days of stressing, she has the flights worked out. And then she pulls me to the sides and asks me this question. She goes, do you work to live or live to work? And at the time, I waved it off, but I think it really hit me like a few months later, and I kind of couldn't answer the question because I worked so much. I literally worked almost 24/7, and my only getaway was Sosua. My only time to really get some peace and put my phone down and not actually work was in Sosua. So now I'm stuck with that. Now let's get back to the original story. Well, my man Kiko, he tells me $2K a month should be good in DR if you get out of the tourist mode. Okay? So I decided to do 3 months in Sosua. Now, I packed money for 8 and clothes for 8 to 9 months. But the plan was to stay 3 months. I just stacked each envelope and wrote the name down. January, February, March, blah, blah, blah. And put $2,000 each envelope. Now, what happened was 3 months turned into 6, then 6 turned into 9, then I decided to stay a year. Every day just answering emails, going to the beach, blah, 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 just doing my thing. So one day I'm going through my computer and my bank statement is off. I realized I've been in Sosua for almost a year, never leaving. And I was still paying rent at my apartment in Brooklyn. Yeah, $1,500 a month coming automatic out my account that I totally forgot about. So I said, let me take my ass back to New York and get rid of this apartment. I get back to New York, get rid of the apartment. Me and my girl at the time had already broken up. So before I left, I thought she took all the stuff out because I had bounced to Jersey. So I thought she took everything and got rid of the apartment, but she didn't. She just was bouncing, figuring I'd take care of it. So almost a year of paying New York rent, I decided, well, you know what? Let me get my stuff. I've already been in DR. Let me just go. Upped, grabbed the rest of my stuff, went to DR. Still wasn't 100% sure I was living there. I guess I was lying to myself, but I was living in DR. I was. So what I want you guys to do now, this is the first part of the story of how I ended up in DR. And the question that my assistant asked me actually had a lot to do with that because I work so much. If you guys got any questions, you can ask them. Part 2 may come in a couple of weeks. But right now, this is my journey, or my Sosua journey, part 1. Much love from me to you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Mr. Flip Flop. Stay tuned.